Welcome to Lighting for Profits with Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What is going on? Welcome to the number one landscape lighting show in the world, Lighting for Profits. I'm your host, Ryan Lee, and we got another good one this week. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your week is off to a great start. If you are looking to start or grow a landscape lighting business, then you're definitely in the right place. And today's show, super excited. Going to have Mr. James Solecki. James is with Island Villa Lighting. And James is an old school lighting guy. I hope he's okay with me calling him that because he's been around a while and he's got a lot that we can learn from. And he's managed to really create quite the niche for himself. And when I think of James, actually I've never met him in person, but I just see kind of his work and follow him on social media and stuff like that. And I just think of like super custom. You know, he's definitely not the cookie cutter guy. And so he does not like anything cookie cutter. And it's really kind of hard to argue with him on really anything because he has figured out how to make a lighting business work on an island. Okay. He's figured out how to move to an island and do landscape lighting. So not a lot of people, well, he's the only guy I know that's ever done that. So that's pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. And anyway, we're going to have James Solecki on with Island Villa Lighting in just a few minutes. So I'm super excited to have him on. If you guys are on YouTube or Facebook and have any questions for me or him, go ahead and put those in the comments. Put them in now, and that way we can answer them live on the air. And I want to thank our listeners on Turf Stop Radio. This has been a lot of fun. And we do this every week, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So such a good time. I'm actually broadcasting from a new studio. I know it's hard to tell because the backdrop's the same, but I got a new office this last week. And so new studio for Landscape Lighting Secrets, a new studio for Lighting for Profits. And I'm super excited about this because it's one of those things that, everyone in my program, in my coaching program, I encourage them to move the needle and take the next step and replace themselves. And one of those steps is getting your first office, your first warehouse. And that usually comes along with getting an office manager and stuff like that. And so I wanted to do that. I was working from home and I was like, you know what? I'm going to practice what I preach. I got myself an office, be more professional, give me a place to work, give me some more space. So now I can do some more trainings and classes and things like that. So I'm super excited about this opportunity to have my own office again. So it feels good. And real quick reminder, I encourage you guys to, it's not too late to get your tickets to the Holiday Bright Lights Holiday Kickoff. And that is in Tampa, Florida, July 29th, 30th, and 31st. So go to holidaybrightlights.com to get your tickets and come see me. I'm going to be down there with Turf's Up Radio, with Landscape Lighting Secrets. So I think King Darren's going to even bring some swag to give out. So come hang out with us for a few days. It's going to be a lot of fun. And before we welcome James onto the show, I kind of want to talk about, we live in a crazy world. I mean, if you think about the progression that has happened over the past 100 years and then 50 years and 20, even the last 10 years, even the last 5 years, think about how much progression we've had in development and access to information and just everything. I mean, it's crazy, right? And honestly, it's information overload. We live in this crazy world where it's just like, it's almost too much information, right? And have you seen, there's a movie called The Social Dilemma. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a really good movie. And it confirmed, it opened my eyes in a lot of different things, but it also confirmed a lot of things that I was thinking about. And it talks about this, social media really. And it talks about some of the dangers of it and things like that. And social media for me, and this is coming from a guy, by the way, up until about 18 months ago, if you go back, go look me up on Facebook. I only posted like twice a year. It was like the obligatory post. I was not into social media at all. And that's because I've never really enjoyed social media. Now, the reason why something changed 18 months ago is because my business model changed. And one of the ways to grow my business was using social media. So the next three things, the 3 pointers I'm going to give you guys, there's 3 dangers that I want to warn you about social media. Remember, it's coming from a guy who used to be kind of anti social media and now is doing something almost every day on there. So it's a love-hate relationship. It really is. So hopefully by me kind of going over these 3 dangers, it can help set you in the right direction to make sure you're using social media to grow your business and kind of nothing else, right? Because there's just a lot of information overload out there, and it can be super dangerous. So the first thing my first warning about social media, okay, and again, I'm on it every day, so it's going to sound hypocritical, but again, if you'll see how I'm using social media to grow my brand, you can learn a lot from that, and you can grow your brand by using social media as well. So, but the first danger is wrong information. Okay, so if you're getting all your information from a free Facebook group, by the way, I have a free Facebook group, so I fall into this category as well. But you might want to consider changing your learning strategy, okay? Because there's what is a free Facebook group or what is Google? Like, there's not a whole lot of pre-qualification. I mean, anyone can be in there, right? And a lot of people are willing to give advice that is really not advisable, and you get answers that it's like, okay, wow, and unfortunately people think that as truth because they're so confident in their answer, right? And so just because someone is confident in their post or makes a bunch of posts doesn't mean that they're an authority, doesn't mean that that actually is the right answer. And keep in mind too that there's a lot of times more than just one right answer, right? There's not always just one way of doing things, and a lot of it depends on where you're at in business and where you're at in life and what your views are and everything else, right? But I've also found that a lot of the really, really successful guys, if you look at their profiles, yeah, they'll come in from time to time, but some of them aren't even on social media at all. Like, I don't even know who they are because they're not on there. And then others, they're super successful and they're on from time to time, but they're definitely not dominating, right? And so that's because they're busy growing and they're building their business, right? So what does that say about the people who are constantly, helping you out, right? So just my warning is that there is a lot of wrong information being passed around. And, I understand I have a free Facebook group. So technically I could be talking trash about myself, but just be careful that when you ask a question and you get an answer, that doesn't mean it's the end all be all. Like, you can still do some homework. You can still do some research. That could just be one point of reference for you in your learning strategy, right? The second danger that really comes with social media is it's a distraction. I mean, this is huge, guys. Gosh, I see people asking questions. They're wanting to grow, but I can't help but think to myself, man, if you really put that much energy and focus into growing your own business and just actually working and figuring stuff out, imagine how much further along you'd be, right? So there's these people that are constantly in the groups, right? And they're always asking questions and they're always in there. And it's like, man, these are actually good questions, but I promise you, if you just like go out and work, like, you'd have this stuff figured out and better than some of these answers that you're getting, because you actually learned it hands-on, right? And so don't get distracted. It's okay to have a sense of community and have friendships and stuff like that. I think that's part of social media. That's why it's there, right? But just the warning is, don't let it be a distraction to where it's keeping you from your end game. And that distraction is so easy to happen because it's an addiction. And if you watch The Social Dilemma, you'll see how they do that. But there's a reason why you want to sit down on the couch at the end of the night and start scrolling. It's because you're addicted, right? It's not going to add any value to your life. It's just going to suck the wind out of you, right? So don't get distracted with social media. And then third is information overload. Okay, I know, listen, I know firsthand what it's like to experience information overload. When I got my degree, I got a marketing degree, I got an MBA. I went to school because the world told me to, and it was like, I didn't want to go, and I just did it because I thought I was supposed to for some reason. And I didn't enjoy it at all. I hated learning. But when I started my own business, I loved learning. I started reading books, and I would surround myself with mentors and Google stuff, and I loved it, right? And even when I started this business, I'd never been a coach. So I did a lot of research and spent literally over a year attending seminars, webinars, hiring people, paying for programs, signing up for all courses, all this sorts of stuff. And I became trapped to this information overload. And I got addicted to learning. It was like, oh man, I know this and I know this. But the problem is I felt smarter. Like, yeah, now I have all this information, but it was actually pointless. Like I wasn't implementing any of it, And so like you read a good book, like, man, that's awesome. And then what? Like, it's just a good book, right? And so don't get caught up in just learning, and make sure you're spending time implementing. It'd be much better to just read one chapter of one book and then go implement it over the next 6 months than spend time reading the whole book and not implementing anything, right? So I fell trapped to this. I know what this is like. And I know that other people are going through this because I can see it. I can see people trying to gather information through all their questions and this and that and the other, and go into they're active at conferences and they're active in the groups. And it's great to learn. It's great to, further your knowledge and be a better person, be a better business owner. But at some point you got to stop and you got to implement. So those are kind of my 3 dangers of social media: wrong information, a distraction, and information overload. So take that for whatever it's worth. I know someone out there, hopefully it's you, this will help, because you should be using social media to grow your business. I mean, to me, that's the number one thing. If you go to your profile right now and you click on it, to me, it shouldn't just be a picture of you or your family or whatever. It should say what you do, because when you are interacting with people and then they click on your profile, you could get leads out of this stuff, right? And you should be getting leads. I mean, my whole strategy over this whole last year of growing my business was simply that. If you go to my profile, you're going to find out what I do and how to get in touch with me, where I want you to go. It funnels through my website, right? And so make sure you're using social media for that. And I know it's a love-hate relationship. Again, I used to hate it. Now I love it because it's great for business, but I still hate it. So emphasis definitely on hate there, but make sure you guys are using it for your best interest. And the best advice someone gave me was to focus social media just solely on growing your business. Okay. And going on and scrolling is not going to add value. It's not going to build your business, but posting valuable content, yeah, that can, and that's going to attract people to you and get you new clients, which is going to help grow your business. So that's all I got for you there. I want to remind you guys that Lighting for Profits is on all the podcasting networks. So make sure you guys go and subscribe. That way you get access to episodes when they, right when they come out. All right, guys. Well, listen, we are just a couple of minutes away from welcoming Mr. James Solecki on. So stick around. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the posts on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be sure to try to answer them live. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, lawn and landscape pros, don't turn your lights off after fall. Turn on the lights and start making money during the holidays this winter. Twist on a money-making bulb and join Turfs Up Radio at the Holiday Bright Lights Christmas Kickoff 2021, July 29th through the 31st in Tampa, Florida. Increase your experience through networking. Learn on-site about RGB and Twinkly Pro technology. Meet decorators and leaders in the holiday light industry and much more. Don't be left in the dark. Learn how pros all across the country have already started making more money after fall with Holiday Bright Lights. To register, visit holidaybrightlights.com/Christmas-kickoff. That's holidaybrightlights.com/Christmas-kickoff.
Lawn and landscape pros need to keep their competitive edge, and the easiest way to do that is by attending GIE Plus Expo this October 20th through the 22nd. There's only one word to describe the biggest action-packed experience in the outdoor equipment industry. Wow! Over 1,000 indoor exhibits wall-to-wall with innovative products and the latest technology. Talk face-to-face with the engineers that design your favorite equipment. Then step outside and dive into the hands-on demo area where you can drive, dig, and compare equipment to your heart's delight. This year, the wow gets even bigger with the new UTV test track, the hands-on drone zone, and free parking. Free parking! Register now at GIE-Expo.com, and we'll see you in Louisville, Kentucky this October.
Hey everybody, Wayne Vose, the Prophet, your host of Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. If you listen to my show, you know I'm all about profit. As an industry, profit is something we fail to meet most of the time. If you're working hard but not seeing the results that you deserve, Profits Unlimited is here to help. We offer processes and systems designed specifically to make your company more successful, more profitable, and certainly more efficient. When you're ready to take your company to the next level, reach out to me at profitsareus.com. That's profitsareus.com. And don't forget to turn into Profit Time every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. It is time to welcome our guests. Please welcome to the studio, Mr. James Solecki. What's going on, James?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ryan?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, and thanks for joining us. I know you're on an island. Tell us where you're at.
I am in the beautiful island of Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so jealous right now. So I got to ask you just right off the bat, how does one get to the point where they move to an island to do landscape lighting?
It's all about finding opportunity. I was blessed, and I had an opportunity to come down here to help a client of mine out from Canada who also owns some property here. And I came down to give him some advice and some consultations on a condominium development, and spent a little bit of time here and looked around at the opportunity, and we pulled the trigger. We worked our guts out, we worked our hearts and minds out, and built a new business and a new life.
That's crazy. So it really was just, you went down there for one project, and then you're like, man, it'd be nice to live here and do this full time.
Well, my wife and I had always sort of had dreams of waiting and semi-retiring to a Caribbean island because of the climate of where we're from in northern or central Ontario, with 5 to 6 months of hardcore winter every year. It tends to put a drag on things. So we'd always wanted to find something to do in the winter. We never thought it would turn into this, but here we are.
That's awesome. And how long have you been doing lighting? Like, can you tell me a little bit, just like how long you've been doing it and how you got into it?
I first got the lighting bug when I was just a kid. I was 14. I was involved in a community theater in Toronto, and got myself on the lighting crew of this stage venue, and learned all about stage and live event lighting. Went on to do mobile live event lighting. Moved out of lighting, went on to university. Pursued what I thought would be a real life. And then after quite a long time, I got introduced to landscape lighting by my now father-in-law, who owned an irrigation and landscape lighting company in Burlington and Oakville, Ontario. So that's how I learned about landscape lighting. My father-in-law introduced me pretty quickly to Bill Laughlin at Nightscaping, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how many years ago was that?
That would have been, 24 years ago I got into landscape lighting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. It's one of those industries that even now people will be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a business coach. And they're like, oh, what kind of business coach? I'm like, for landscape lighting companies. And they're like, what the hell? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Because even to me, I'm like, I don't know. It still doesn't make sense. But it's just one of those industries that most people don't know about. And you would never think like, man, I can't wait till I can start my own business and get into landscape lighting. So it's cool to hear kind of how everyone gets into it.
Yeah, and there's so many interesting stories out there. I've met so many people in the industry over all these years, and one thing that always blows my mind is how many of us got our start in live event or stage lighting. It's pretty much astounding, but there's just a ton of us out there, and how few of us actually do this as a one time. I do other things now. I do a broad spectrum of lighting design, consultation, specification, procurement. But for years and years, for 20 plus years, it was pretty much landscape lighting. And there's not a lot of standalone landscape lighting guys. They sure stand out when they do standalone.
That's right. Yeah. So you're on Turks and Caicos in the middle of the ocean on this tiny island. Is it possible to get any work done, or do you just go outside and be like, I'm going to lay on the beach and then get some
this
work
place,
done?
it really surprises me. The work ethic here is quite astounding. It's not what you would expect it to be. You have that, you visit the Caribbean islands on vacation and everything seems so, laid back and I'll worry about it tomorrow. This place is actually booming. The construction sector is on fire here, and things move quickly. Like we build here way faster than we build back in Canada. You have to keep your eye on the prize, man. If you leave at the wrong time, leave a job site at the wrong time for 2 hours, you can miss the boat. Quite literally.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so good. So again, I know we've never met in person, but we've talked on the phone, and we've kind of follow each other on Facebook and stuff like that. But you're obviously not a cookie cutter guy. I asked a question in I think it was in my group, maybe someone else's a while ago, and I said, hey, would you rather do a one $10,000 job or 5 $2,000 jobs? How would you respond to that?
I'd rather do one $50,000 job. Absolutely. One of the things I like telling people about is this. When I started my business way back when in Muskoka, it was a tiny market with no service providers in lighting. I was the first guy in a tiny upscale market. And when we started the business, I had a full-time job. I was driving a truck and pregnant wife and a mortgage and all the rest of it. And I started up the business, and right away we started getting inquiries. And a really nice guy from one of the small towns near us called in. And he wanted me to come and look at a deck in the backyard of his house in this town. And I told him that I was super busy and probably wouldn't be able to take a look at it for quite some time. And my wife hung up the phone, and she's like, "What are you doing? We just opened this business. Why wouldn't you go look at that? Potential new customer." And I said, "Hon, if I want to do $5,000 deck projects in people's backyards, how many of these a year am I going to have to do to make enough money to carry this family?" I said, "My goal isn't to be doing 100 jobs a year." I knew from the beginning I didn't want to build a HR rich company. I didn't want 5 trucks and 15 employees. So I was like, I don't want to do a great job for this guy. He has a party. All of his friends and colleagues come by and they love it. And then, next thing you know, I got 2 or 3 inquiries to do more small jobs. The fact of the matter is, designing this, getting to the site, doing the sales call, doing the quoting and the procurement and inventory control and driving to site to do an install all takes the same amount of time as it does for a large job. I'm of the mind I would much rather do a really big job and do fewer of them, because I think it's more profitable for a small operator to focus like that.
Yeah, and I think you actually brought up a good point, because some people I think responded was like, I'm fairly new, so I'll take what I can get, and they're with the kind of the mentality of like, well, I'll just do a couple $2,000 jobs. But the danger in that is, then all of those referrals and your next year of business is going to be those same types of jobs. Whereas you can get into those bigger ones, then they're all going to have.
And similarly, and it happened just sort of on plan. We got a call one day, and a guy had bought a new property. It was a young tech executive, And this guy had scotophobia. He was certifiably afraid of the dark. He wanted the full 3 acres done. He had a tight timeline. He was doing it for his outdoor wedding. He had 3 weeks to light this property. And we got that. I got that job closed. It was somewhere in the mid 30s, way back, 30 grand way back in 24 years ago. It was a huge job. We got it done on time. He invited all his friends and family, and by Monday we had 4 or 5 jobs like that booked up. So it's all about strategizing, and you got to position yourself. What market do you want? How hard do you want to work? Straight up.
Yeah. So anything you can share with us, like what's the key to landing those bigger jobs? What's the key to getting in? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, I don't know that there's any silver bullet method or
Come on.
proven strategy, because every market is different. Let's face it, every one of us is different. We all have different temperaments, talents, convictions, abilities. But I can give you a great tip. It's something that I learned to do. It resulted in about a 7-year growth spurt in my business, right when I needed it most. I had the opportunity to light a premier private golf club. And this project was geographically huge. May still to this day be one of the largest low voltage lighting systems geographically, not fixture count, but the amount of territory we lit was massive.
What's the name of the golf club?
It's Ovenbird. It's in Muskoka.
Okay.
When I'd done my proposal, the number was large, and the owner, who was a really good client of mine, he said, I don't think you're quite seeing the opportunity here. He said, why don't you do this for cost? I'll buy the materials. You put it in. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way I can devote weeks of my summer season installing this thing for you at cost. I've heard all the promises in the past. He goes, James, we're going to have 200 of the most well-heeled clients you'll ever see in your life. And they're all going to be seeing this when they come dining and to events. And anyway, he's a very persuasive guy and very smart guy. And he talked me into it. And I did it. And it was the best strategic marketing I have ever done in my life. Because what I lost on profit and labor on that job, I can't even tell you how many fold over by the automatic referrals generated by that job. So if you have the opportunity to light the entranceway of an HOA at the exclusive gated community in your community, do it. If you can get in front of the best country club, the best golf club, the best tennis club, the best marina, the best yacht club in your market, approach them. Don't wait for them to call you. Put a package together. Do the design work up front. Get in front of a general manager and say, hey, I have an idea for you. I would love to make this property look special, spectacular, remarkable, make it stand out. And here's my proposal to you. This is a $400,000 proposal I'm putting down in front of you, and we can put this together and do it for X. And it's not going to hurt you. It's only take time to put something like that together, and if you can pull the trigger, it's a great way to get those types of referrals into upper scale, communities and homes.
Yeah, excellent advice. I appreciate that. That's awesome. So I know it seems like when you get started, then you start seeing people that like have jobs in other states or on the islands or whatever. Would you recommend that? Does it make sense for someone to travel and do those projects, or is it like, just stay in your hometown and do those projects?
Again, it really depends on your target market. If your market is lighting the middle of the market, you're not going to be able to put a value proposition across to clients who are far away. The costs are large. The travel costs are high. You're pulling all that equipment down. You're having to put your staff up in hotels. The way I did a lot of jobs away because I was in a tiny market. We would go down to Toronto, which was a 2.5-hour drive, and that was just once a week, no big deal. we had jobs in Canada where I was a 6-7 hour drive one way to the client. But how you get those is basically it's picking the clients who understand your craft and your art, and you've already impressed them. I was lucky. I was in a cottage market, summer home market. So there was a natural tie-in. Once you made a client happy at their cottage, they wanted the same service at their home. But don't travel unless the money's in there. Like, they have to be prepared to cover all of your overhead. And it's high. It really boosts the cost. So you have to be special. They're not going to pay the extra cost of moving a guy across state lines and bringing all his equipment for the same old.
Yeah, I was always tempted to kind of go after those, but we just opted, stay local, and we would do local lake houses and stuff. But it was just, we were staying plenty busy, making plenty enough money, just staying local. And I just figured I'll let someone else figure out the expenses to go travel to Dubai or whatever. All right, well, stick around, guys.
Well, not for work, but yeah, interesting place.
I know there was some guys in Dallas that would go do lighting there. So, but anyway, stick around because I got a bunch more questions for you. And guys, stick around. We're got just a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with James Solecki here on Lighting for Profits on Turf's Up Radio.
Do you hear that? It's quiet. No sounds of anger, attempts to throw a phone or computer out the window, or annoyance trying to change your business to make it fit into a software program. Crew Control just works. It's easy to do your scheduling. You can be up and running in less than a day. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. Give it a try for yourself with our 2-week free trial. crewcontrol.com. That's crewcontrol.com.
Yeah! Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turf's Up radio hosts, including Heculus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian.
My name is not Brian.
Ryan Lee, Wayne the Prophet Bowles,
One opportunity.
his son Daniel, Brooke Ford, the Green Veteran,
Giddy up.
and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turf's Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah! Oh, yeah. Hey, landscape pros, are you tired of digging through rocks and roots and breaking shovels in the process? Then it's time you checked out the Geo Ripper 616. It's a landscaper's dream with the Makita 6 Series 2-cycle engine producing over 4 horsepower of raw performance. The 616 digs deep in up to 16 inches of the toughest soils. Lighting, landscape, and irrigation contractors already love this improved lightweight trencher with its ability to get in and get out faster, easier, and with less ground disturbance. And you will too. This redesigned Geo Ripper 616 comes with 2 heavy-duty digging chains and a whole mess of helpful extras. To learn more about the Geo Ripper and how it can help you out in the field, visit georipper.com today.
Hey everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of the Green Veteran here on Turf's Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's the Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turf's Up Radio. I'm joined with James Solecki of Island Villa Lighting. And like I said, I appreciate you being on here. I know you're probably due at the beach or something like that here soon. So
The boat's waiting, Come on.
Yeah. You got a good tan already, so you can probably take a day off, a couple hours off. So I want to ask you, we've got listeners that are brand new into lighting. We've got listeners that have been doing it a long time, way longer than I have. We got people that are thinking about getting into lighting, kind of all over the place. But I'd noticed, let me ask you something actually. When you do a lighting installation, what is the length of your labor warranty? How long is the labor warranty?
That's a great question. So back in Canada, and things are different here. This is the Caribbean. So in Canada, we offered a 2-year parts and labor warranty, but covered by us, the company, the installers. And then in the on fixtures, we would honor and if anything happened, we would use the manufacturer's warranty that extends beyond the contractor's warranty. What I did do for a long time, and it's sort of another tip for people, and I was so criticized for this. I was so run down the rail for doing this. People thought I was absolutely crazy. But we didn't charge for service for 3 years following an installation. No questions asked. I ran a program where I put enough in the thing on the front side that when you got the inevitable call on a Friday evening that, the couple post lights were out on the deck or whatever the situation, his zone wasn't coming on, you could take it as an opportunity to revisit your client, touch base with them, take care of them, and be remarkable enough not to drop a small invoice on them. And that tiny little thing, which really didn't lose us much revenue at all, made the company and the service so remarkable. People talked about it all the time. The clients would say all the time, "Oh, you want to get someone? You got to call James, man. The guy just takes care of it. It always works. It always looks great. And when he does come to fix something, he usually doesn't even charge you for it. I don't know how he does it, right?"
So
you can't do this forever. You get so big that you can't just be giving free service for the rest of time. But you can certainly build it into your model for a few years after an installation.
Well, what about the guys that take that to an extreme and they're like, I'll just do forever. They get lifetime service.
I can't imagine how you could budget for that, or I don't know anyone who does it myself. Like I said, we did it for about 3 years after every installation. The other thing that I did was 2 service levels. If it was a little thing and you had patience, i.e. you could wait till the next time we were in your neighborhood, no charge. And that went on forever. But if you needed sudden service, you paid for the service call, the time on the truck. You got no free time when we arrived, billed by the hour plus the cost of materials. So that gave the client the option. They say, well, it's not a big deal, James. This thing happened. Come by whenever you can, and we take care of it for nothing. If they needed us out right away, they paid full fare.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I think we did something similar. I mean, we did 2 years. If they call, you just come out, no questions, But then, if they had a maintenance plan or something like that after that, then, things would change or whatever. But how about products? We actually have a question from Justin Lindquist. With your experience, do you purchase fixtures by the job or stock your own?
Well, here in Turks and Caicos, I actually run a distribution company, and we inventory lots of things because we're selling to the full market. Back in Canada, the more traditional model, I would inventory what I call consumables, or the commodities, connectors, wire, all the stuff that every job has in common, and lamps. And then the fixtures, we would have a supply of meat and potatoes fixtures for service calls, but none of the specials. Absolutely not. Everything was ordered by the job. You've got to keep your cost of operations low if you're a small organization. Once you get bigger, some vendors, I know one large distributor in the Toronto area runs an inventory control program for their large contractors. Their guys go in and run their shelves and inventory. But you got to be big. You got to be moving lots of materials for that to happen. For smaller guys like us, you'll just have too much money sitting on the shelf.
Yeah. And the reason why, even if you are small, if you can afford to have a little small inventory, is because we all know when you get to the job, maybe when you were in the salesperson mode, they weren't ready to buy those 3 or 4 extra lights on the trees. But when you're in install mode, they're like, you know what, you guys are here, just add them. And so if you have them and you don't have to be like, all right, well, I'm going to order them, they'll be here in 7 days, and we can come back and 6 weeks later, So if you can have some, it's definitely helpful.
And the way you build up, a great way to build up an inventory of consumables and commodities is to add 10% to every purchase order. So if you're buying 100, you got a large job and you're buying 100 of, certain type of MR16, order 110, put the 10 on your shelf. Then you can service with that inventory, and your truck or your shop service inventory grows magically. It's not costing, it's not a huge outlay. And you can even, if you do the free service model, you price that into your install. So you know that those consumables that you're going to use up in the next couple of years servicing that job were bought and paid for on the front side anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great advice. I'm big on profitability. It's one of the things that I struggled with early on. And it was the reason why I couldn't get out of my business, and I couldn't see myself ever scaling and making the money that I wanted to make. And I figured out some methods to help with that. But it's one of those things I feel like anyone new to the industry, and not just new, by the way, I mean, guys that have been in it over 5 years, sometimes 10 years, they're always tempted. They're like, man, I can't charge that. I'm big on increasing the price. They're like, I can't charge enough, whether it's their confidence or whatever. So they resort to like, well, if I can't charge more, I'll just cut my costs. I'm just going to buy cheaper stuff. What do you have to say about that?
The best stuff you can afford. For the most part, if you're running this type of business properly, you're running it on a margin. You're making a percentage markup on everything you touch. Everything, every wire nut, every foot of wire, you make money on. So I've said this for years. If you're buying a $100 fixture and selling it, marking it up 50%, it's much better than buying a $10 fixture and marking up 50%. So, there's a huge argument. There's some guys out there who are saying, well, I'm going to buy the cheapest possible fixture and charge the most I possibly can for it. You'll end up getting bitten in the butt with that strategy, in my experience. Our customers they are savvy people. These people have bought a thing or two. They've contracted a few people in the past. They might even build a few homes. These are savvy people out there. You can't be putting, shining up a pig and charging full price for it and putting it out there. Buy the best quality components for every job, the best features, start at the top of the range, and then what you can do as you're in the sales process, if you've just blown the client out, they want what you have to offer, but they just can't afford your price, you can bring the kit value down. That's the way you move around on kit. But I always try to sell the best quality fixture for the job, the best quality system for the job. Everyone's happier, the products are better, everything lasts longer, everyone makes more money. And most of the clients that I deal with, they want the best. They want to say yes to you. They really do. They want what you have to offer. Don't be afraid to up the game a little bit. And once you start using spec grade products, you're never going to want to go backwards. I'm telling you, man. Gear driven aiming and all the bells and whistles that make our life much more easy. True IP68 ratings. No moisture issues, no ants in stems biting you every time you open up a fixture.
That's awesome. I love what you said. I'd rather make 50% on a $100 fixture than a $20 fixture. You may have said 10 or something, but whatever you said, it sounded good. It sounded better when you said it. But I love it because it's one of the things that I learned, and I try to just preach this stuff, is like when you're running a business, everything doesn't have to be an expense. And in fact, if you're doing it right, everything you touch is an investment. So employees, it's not like a lot of people, I can't afford to hire this person. It's like, what do you mean? You can't afford not to hire this person? Because you're going to pay them $30,000, but they're going to bring you $100. I can't afford this fixture. It's $100. Again, you're going to spend more. You're going to make more. So I love your, I love your thinking along those lines, because it really does make your business. Everything is an investment and not an expense. We had a quick question from Rick Carmen. Is there any way around the import tax in Dominican Republic?
Well, I'm not in the Dominican Republic, but there's no way around the duties or taxes here. That's how this government and this island makes its revenue. We have no income tax, property tax, sales tax, or any other corporate taxes. They make their money on import duties. And being Canadian, I paid a lot of tax in my life. This is how our country, how our government, and how our place makes their revenue. So there's a saying here. I'm sure it's not the only place. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So just charge accordingly, right? So where do you see the future of landscape lighting? I know it's changed a lot over the time that you've been doing it. Obviously, introduction of LED and everything else, but any you see it going? Is it going to kind of stay the same? Is it going to be?
I had a chat a couple of years ago about this, and a couple of years ago identified sophisticated controls as a new, not a new frontier, but an emerging area where the industry can improve. And lo and behold, they haven't improved it that much. So we still need work in sophisticated controls. I'm still not happy with what's out there. It's too many problems. I think controls could certainly use another, more investment from the manufacturers. I don't want to give away too. I've dabbled in product for a long time with a few great manufacturers. And I got an idea. So
nice.
There's an NDA being crafted right now, and there's a potential partner coming to talk to. But I have something up my sleeve which is really different and really cool. Hasn't been done before, and it will make me feel much more easy when ordering materials. Because right now, one of the things that blows my mind is the ridiculous carbon footprint of our industry. It's astounding. And all the base metals that we use and consume, it could be done so much better. So maybe we can start looking as we get our features and, LEDs pretty much darn near perfected. We can start making our livelihood and our business and our passion more responsible.
Yeah, very cool. I like that. Such a tease, though. So, do you have your own line of lights? I know you've worked with. Okay.
No, I don't have my own line, but I've worked with a lot of people to make existing product better and invent some new product too.
Okay, I gotcha. So, with what I'm doing, it's still a fluid thing. I know what I want to do, and I try certain things, and I pivot and stuff like that. But I'm big on sales, pricing, marketing, business strategies, because I see a lot of guys getting into the game as good designers, and they know how to install. It's not like I'm teaching them better install methods. But I do feel like the purists out there, there's like kind of these people that are like, I've been doing this a long time. And it's like, they relied on their hard work and their designs, and they tend to not really want to care or listen to what I have to say. Why do you think that is?
Man, we lighting guys are a crazy group of people. I've never met a bigger group of GDIs in my life, and gosh darn independent. Let's put it that way. It's great. This industry is filled with GDIs. Everybody is so independent-minded, single-minded people, passionate people, and maybe that's it, man. Maybe it all comes back. We are pursuing an artful craft that is widely misunderstood, is widely touted as being easy and simple, and you jam some, there's lots of people doing it. Lots of people stick a light under a tree and charge $500 and move on. And yeah, $500, guys, not this 250 stuff I keep reading about. Like, I think it's the people involved in this, are just our group of really passionate people. And I think some of the old dogs, if you want to call us that, we took a swing and we tried to change the industry a long time ago, and we tried to get people to listen, and maybe just settling down into a quieter time in our careers. I'm always happy to help people. I'm always happy to mentor people if I have the time to bring you along. And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, then no problem. Strike out on your own and find your own pathway.
Okay, so last question here from Justin Lundquist, or Lindquist, sorry about that. If you had $5,000 of disposable cash at the beginning stage of your company, you already got yourself and tools, where would you put your money first to try and scale? Truck wrap, SEO, paid ads, direct mail, etc.
I know exactly how I would start this. I would take the first $24 of it, and I would buy a really old book called The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. And The Purple Cow will teach you how to become remarkable. And then you'll take the last $4,975 and you will invest it in a campaign of remarkability. And what I mean by that, you're not going to advertise with it or wrap a truck or buy a funky new tool. You will put it into your work and then make your clients talk about you. It's the best marketing money spent. I used to do it by once in a while. I put an 18-karat gold path light in for a client. Didn't charge them for it. Had their villa name engraved into the bell of it. Anything you can do. Throw in a couple extra fixtures where you determine you need them on the installation, and then on the walkthrough, tell the client, oh, and by the way, I decided to give these to you because I thought the project could really use them. Make yourself remarkable with that $5,000 budget. It's the best money you can spend.
Love it. I love that idea. So I guess before we leave, how do people get in touch with you? Is it your website, or is there anything you want?
Through the website, or they can just use my email address, which is fine, james@islandvillalighting.com. Don't bother calling down because you don't want to pay the international long distance rates, I promise you.
And then if we want to book our next vacation, who do we talk to? Who do we talk with?
Not with me. Okay. That would be Tourism TCI. They'll help you.
That's when we go to the Dominican Republic, right? All right, man. Well, thanks so much for being on here. I appreciate the wisdom and insight that you shared with us.
It was a good chat. Very much. I had a good time.
Yeah, man. I know it always goes quick, so we'll have to have you back on with whatever you were teasing us with. So whenever
hopefully that'll move forward, man.
Yeah, whenever you get some traction with that and you feel like you want to promote it a little bit, then we'll have you back on.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
Right. Thanks, James. We'll see you, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, stick around. Just a couple minutes. I'm going to end the show with my lighting tip of the week. I promise it's a good one, so stick around.
Attention all veterans. Have you heard about Turf's Up Radio's Jobs for Vets program? If you are looking for a job and you're interested in working in the landscape and snow removal profession, there just might be a company in your local area that is looking to hire. All you have to do is send us your resume at jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. That's jobsforvets@turfsupradio.com. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey, this is Jeff Hester, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turf's Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turf's Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turf's Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turf's Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turf's Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you will be connected with other pros in the industry that want to do business with you, not to mention property owners who need help with just about everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join turfsupnation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. To sign up for this free service, go to turfsupnation.com.
All right, welcome back to Lighting for Profits here on Turfs Up Radio. I don't know what time it is. It's 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just finished up a sweet interview with James Solecki. Yeah, he's on an island. Just lives on an island, does lighting. I'm not jealous at all. Pretty awesome stuff. I want to end the show real quick. I'm going to throw this out there, and I've been thinking about it, and I'm just going to let you guys know on this, okay? If you guys are interested and you think you have what it takes to be my co-host here on Lighting for Profits, I'm considering, it's going to be application only. I'm considering having a co-host on Lighting for Profits every week, Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you think you may be interested and you think you fit the bill, shoot me an email at support@ryanleecoaching.com. That's all I'm going to say about it for right now. And it won't require a whole hour. It might only be like 15 minutes or whatever, but let me know if you think you can qualify for the position. But I want to end the show talking about something that's super important, and I'm telling you, you need to implement this in your business if you're not already doing it. And if you are already doing it, you could probably do a better job. And it's communication. And I'm not talking about just communication with your customers and stuff like that. That's a given. But I'm talking about communication with your employees. And it's so valuable to have short weekly meetings with your team, okay? And have monthly meetings that are a little bit longer. This will ensure that you stay focused and are doing the things that matter. And if you're not doing this, and it's easy to skip out. Trust me, I've been there. It's like, yeah, we're too busy. We'll do it next week. We'll do it next month. And then all of a sudden, like, a quarter goes by, half a year goes by, and then you see all these problems, and then you get a bad review, right? So you need to do this to keep your business organized, to keep people happy. You can it builds culture, okay? It allows people to be recognized. So recognize your employees for all the things that they're doing. Go over these missed opportunities and failures that happened and turn those into teaching opportunities, right? And I know it's easy to get distracted because you're just like, man, we're just so behind. I mean, I know I was booked out 8 weeks. And when you're doing, $10,000 to $15,000 a day, it's really hard to stop and be like, you know what, let's just stop for half a day or stop for a couple hours, because it's like, you're just drawn to like, man, we got to get all this stuff done, right? And so, but if the key is just schedule it in, and it takes priority over any sales job or sales opportunity, install, anything like that. And I'm going to give you guys something real quick that is going to change your culture. So I want you to not only have these, quick meetings, weekly meetings and monthly meetings and stuff like this, but I want you to have one-on-ones with your employees at least twice a year. And one thing that I want you to ask them is this. You sit down one-on-one. What is one thing that I'm currently doing that you want me to continue to do? What is one thing that you like that I'm doing that you want me to keep doing? Okay. And then they're going to tell you whatever. And the more you do this, by the way, the more they're going to trust you. The more weekly meetings, the more they're going to open up. If you just do this once a year and you don't have these weekly meetings and you don't have good culture, they're not going to open up. And then after that one thing that you're doing well, that they want you to keep doing, this is really important. I want you to ask them, what is one thing that I currently do that you want me to stop? And this right here, this opens up so many opportunities for you guys to have a discussion, a dialogue with your employees. So ask those two questions and one-on-one with your team, right? And this will alleviate a lot of problems. It will open up the communication between you and your team. And when you communicate, you win. So just understand that you want to build a culture that people want to be a part of. This is not only going to keep your existing staff happy, but it also makes it easier to recruit, easier to grow, and they're going to be more happy. So they're going to take care of your clients. So that is my lighting tip of the week. I hope that you guys will actually implement that. So start your weekly and monthly meetings, get disciplined with it, schedule it in. And again, ask those questions. What is one thing that I'm currently doing that you want me to keep doing? And what is one thing that I'm currently doing that you want me to stop doing? right? And then you'll notice they can ask you the same thing. And then you can all of a sudden have this open line of communication. So that is my weekly lighting tip of the week. I want to thank my guest, Mr. James Solecki. And I'm going to try to figure out how to come visit him on the island. I may have to just surprise him one day. I don't know. I don't know if it's a big island or not. It's probably huge, but want to thank him for coming on, sharing his wisdom and knowledge with us. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you so much. I want to remind you guys to keep working on your business every single week, every single day. Schedule it in. I promise your future self will thank you. You guys have a good week.